Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Bibbity Bobbity Books. My name is Ellie and today is the 1st of September, which means that it is autumn in my eyes, which means that it's time for another seasonal TBR. I always enjoy creating a seasonal TBR. I'm quite a seasonal reader. I love picking up books that reflect the feeling of each season that we're in, to fully immerse yourself in each season. And so what I love to do is go through my bookshelves and pull off books that I think would work really well for the time of year and to create a stack or a TBR that I can pull from. Now, I am a very slow reader, so it is very unlikely that I will read all of these books, but I like to just create a TBR that I can pick and choose from basically. And another thing that I want to say is that I am also a mood reader and I like to keep things quite flexible and quite free because I find that way I read more books and I tend to enjoy the books that I'm reading more. So yes, I am creating a stack of books here as kind of like a TBR, but I may also read books outside of this stack as well, depending on my mood. But I always like to create these videos anyway because A, it reminds me what books I have on my shelves and what would be perfect for the season, and B, I feel like it may also give you some inspiration for books that you might want to pick up in this season as well, because I've tried to pull books that I think would be perfect for autumn. So yeah, I'm so excited. There are quite a lot of horror books in this stack because of course we have October around the corner, we have Halloween, it's nearly spooky season, and I'm very excited because I feel like my reading has been primarily dominated with fantasy this year, but I do also really enjoy horror books. So I'm looking forward to reading some more spooky stuff. But yeah, like I say, I will probably also pick up the odd fantasy here and there as well. Anyway, without further ado, let's dive into this TBR stack. I'm so excited. And yeah, let's just get into it. So the first book on my TBR stack is The Cabin at the End of the World by Paul Tremblay. Now this is a little bit of a cheat because I have already started reading this book. I picked it up in August and yes, I'm actually quite far through this book. So keep an eye out on my channel for a review of this book because that will be coming your way fairly soon. But yeah, I was really excited to get to this one because I read A Head Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay a couple of years ago and I really enjoyed it. So I've been keen to try more of this author's work and I've heard fantastic things about this book. So yeah, this is a book that takes place in an isolated cabin setting. We're following a family, so it's two dads and their daughter who are staying at this cabin in New Hampshire, I believe, near a lake. And then everything starts to go weird and very pear-shaped when their daughter is approached by a strange man that she doesn't recognise, and he starts saying some pretty strange things to her. And then a few of his friends appear carrying menacing looking weapons, and they basically force entry into the cabin and start saying some strange things. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to give anything away, but it says on the back that this man says to the child, "Your dads won't want to let us in but they have to. We need your help to save the world." So that's that book. Like I say, I will be reviewing it very soon, so keep your eyes peeled for that video. So the next book on my stack is Don't Let the Forest In by C.G. Drews. So this one was a little bit of a cover buy, but also one of those books where I gave in to the hype because I feel like I've heard quite a lot of people talking about this book and I wasn't going to get it, but then I eventually caved because it does sound like something that I would enjoy, because I do tend to enjoy like botanical type horror, things that involve plants, and as you can see from the cover, that seems like the kind of vibe that we're going to get from this book. The only thing that was putting me off was that apparently this is a young adult and I think there is quite a heavy romance plotline in there, so I'm not sure whether or not that will work for me, but we shall see. All I know about this book is that we follow two boys who are at boarding school, and I believe one enjoys writing and the other enjoys drawing and artwork, and I think one is in love with the other. I'm just going to read you from the back because honestly I don't know too much about this one. So it says on the back, when Andrew returns to boarding school, he can't wait to find refuge in the twisted fairy tales he writes for Thomas, the boy with hair like autumn leaves. But Thomas's parents have vanished and he has blood on his sleeve. Stranger still, Thomas won't talk to Andrew, even though he's always loved sketching the monstrous creations from Andrew's stories. Desperate to uncover the truth, Andrew follows Thomas into the forest and catches him fighting a nightmarish monster. His drawings have come to life. The boys must battle the creatures every night, but as their obsession with each other grows stronger, so do the monsters, and Andrew fears the only way to stop them might be to destroy their creator. Doesn't that sound so good? Okay, so next up we have The Witch in the Well by Camilla Bruce. So this is a book that I've picked up purely because of the author. So I read You Let Me In by Camilla Bruce quite a few years ago, and it's one of my favourite horror books that I've ever read. So of course I wanted to check out more by this author. And so yeah, I picked this one up. I haven't read the synopsis. I don't really know what to expect, but I do know that I really enjoy this author's writing. So I'm really hoping that it works for me. The cover looks great. It says on the front that it's scary as hell. It's haunting and harrowing. And yeah, I'm excited. Next we have a very popular one that I have yet to read, and that is If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. So this is a dark academia style book, which is a genre that is a bit hit and miss for me. I sometimes really enjoy it if it's done well, but there have been quite a few dark academia style books that just haven't really worked for me. So I'm hoping this one will be a hit. I'm sure it will be because I know a lot of people really rate this story. So I'm excited to give it a try for myself. All I know about this story is that it follows people who are involved in acting. They perform a lot of Shakespeare, I believe, and then they start to kind of personify the characters that they're playing. And I believe there's like a murder, and yeah, it gets a bit twisty and a bit chaotic. So yeah, on the back it says a rare and extraordinary novel and a genuinely breathtaking literary thriller. So yeah, it's got more thriller sort of vibes to it, with there being a murder. So it says on the back, when tragedy strikes, one of the 7 friends is found dead. The rest face their greatest acting challenge yet, convincing the police and themselves that they are blameless. Oh, it sounds messy and intense, and I'm very excited. Next up we have The Silent Companions by Laura Purcell. So this one has been sitting on my shelves for quite a long time, and for some reason I haven't picked it up yet. I don't know why, because it sounds like something that I would enjoy because it is a Victorian Gothic style of story, which is a genre that I do normally really like. It says on the front that it's dark and creepy, and yeah, I'll give you a read of this blurb because it's not too long. So it says, newly married, newly widowed Elsie is sent to see out her pregnancy at her late husband's crumbling country estate, The Bridge. With her new servants resentful and the local villagers actively hostile, Elsie only has her husband's awkward cousin for company, or so she thinks. For inside her new home lies a mysterious wooden figure, a silent companion that bears an unsettling resemblance to Elsie herself. How creepy does that sound? I'm so excited. It's been a while since I've read a sort of haunted house type story, and I feel like with the Gothic manor and the Victorian setting, hopefully it's going to give me all of those feels. So I'm very excited to get stuck into that one. Next up we have Ghost Eaters by Clay McLeod Chapman. This one has an absolutely terrifying cover, and I feel like this sounds really interesting because from my memory this follows a person who loses a loved one, and they can take this drug that allows you to see ghosts. So that sounds like a really cool concept. So from having a little look at the blurb here, it looks like we follow our main character, who is a girl called Erin, and she has this ex-boyfriend, but he turns up dead of an overdose. And then her friend tells her about this drug called Ghost, which allows you to see the dead. And it says, grieving and desperate for closure with Silas, the ex-boyfriend, Erin agrees to a pill-popping seance. but the drug has unfathomable side effects, and once you take it, you can never go back. What a unique and interesting premise for a horror book. I think this is going to be really fun. Okay, so next up is A Haunting on the Hill by Elizabeth Hand, and I'm very excited by this one because it says Elizabeth Hand returns to the world of Shirley Jackson. So this is actually set in the very Hill House of The Haunting of Hill House. And that really excites me because that is one of my favourite classic horror books. I really love it. And so yeah, as soon as I heard that there was going to be a new book that was returning to the infamous Hill House, I had to pick it up immediately, and I'm very excited, although a little bit nervous just because I really love the original story so much. And so I hope this one doesn't like taint that. I hope this still encapsulates the vibe and the feeling of the first book, because it has one of the most atmospheric, creepy, unsettling feelings within that first book. And so yeah, I really hope that this does it justice. Yeah, this takes place after the original story, I believe. So it's people returning to Hill House, and I'm not going to read the blurb or the synopsis because I want to go into it blind and discover it all for myself. But yeah, I'm excited to see what happens next in the infamous house. Okay, so next we have Lady Macbeth by Ava Reid. So this is obviously a Macbeth retelling, and it's got an amazing cover, hasn't it? It's so striking. I feel like I've heard quite a lot of people talking about this book, so it seems to be quite popular online, so I hope that's for good reason. So it says, the lady knows the stories that her eyes induce madness in men. The lady knows she will be wed to the Scottish brute who does not leave his warrior ways behind when he comes to the marriage bed. The lady knows his hostile, suspicious court will be a game of survival, requiring all of her wiles and hidden witchcraft to survive. But the lady does not know her husband has occult secrets of his own. She does not know that prophecy girds him like armour. She does not know that her magic is greater and more dangerous, and that it will threaten the order of the world. She does not know this yet, but she will. Okay, so next up we have The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. Now, funny story, well, not so funny for me, but I actually ordered this hardback online because I just thought it was absolutely stunning, and it has the sprayed edges and everything. It's just such a beautiful edition. What I didn't realise when I ordered it was that it wasn't in English. I believe it's in Spanish, so that's a little bit of a problem. So silly me, but that's okay. I'm going to get it on my Kindle and just have this as like a decorative book. So yes, always check if you're ordering things on Amazon or somewhere like that you're actually ordering it in the correct language. Don't make my mistake. It's okay. It's such a beautiful book that, you know, I don't mind, and I could get it on my Kindle anyway. So yeah, that's how I'm going to be reading it. But yeah, this is a cozy fantasy story, so something to maybe break up some of the spookier reads. And it sounds charming, it sounds delightful, and I'm very excited. Let me just pull up a synopsis online for you. So the little tagline says, perfect for fans of Travis Baldry and TJ Klune. The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst is a cozy fantasy tale full of stolen spellbooks, unexpected friendships, sweet jams, and even sweeter romance. Every home needs a little magic. Keela has always had trouble dealing with people, and as a librarian at the Great Library of Elysium, she hasn't had to. She and her assistant Kaz, a sentient spider plant, has spent most of the last 11 years sequestered among the Empire's precious spellbooks, protecting the magic for the city's elite. But a revolution is brewing, and when the library goes up in flames, Keela and Kaz steal whatever books they can and flee to the faraway island where she grew up. But to her dismay, in addition to a nosy and very handsome neighbour, she finds the town in disarray. The Empire has slowly been draining power from the island, and now Keela is determined to make things right. But opening up her own spell shop comes with its own risks. The consequence of sharing magic with commoners is death. And as Keela starts to make a place for herself among the townspeople, she realises she must break down the walls she has kept so high. I feel like for a cozy fantasy, there's quite a lot going on in this one. It sounds like there's actually quite a lot of like fantasy political elements to sink your teeth into as well. So yeah, that intrigues me actually. I'm very excited for this one. Hopefully it's a nice balance of coziness, but with enough plot to propel things forwards and to keep it going and not to be too boring, because I do find that cozy fantasy can sometimes feel a little bit drab. So yeah, that's really intriguing. I'm very much looking forward to getting to that one soon. Okay, so next up we have Empire of the Damned by J. Kristoff. So this is the second book in the Empire of the Vampire series. Now, I probably would actually have to reread the first book if I'm going to jump back into this series, because it's been many years since I read the first book, and I did actually film a dedicated reading review for the first book, so I'll link that down below if you're interested. But yeah, this is a vampire-y story. It's a fantasy, and it has a really kind of stylized writing style. It's very over the top, kind of theatrical in the way that it describes things, which I quite like. And these editions are fantastic as well because they also contain some amazing artwork. So if I just have a little flick through, hopefully this isn't a spoiler because it's quite near the beginning, but can you see that? There's some beautiful like artwork included within these books, which I just love. And yeah, I did enjoy the first book. It basically is told in a style where our main character is narrating what's happening. So he is actually imprisoned and he is telling a story. He's telling us kind of what happened to him leading up to him becoming imprisoned, and there's multiple different timelines, and our main character is a vampire hunter, a vampire killer. And yeah, there's lots of great action, there's lots of, like I say, over the top theatrical sort of fight scenes and things, and some really creative ideas, but also quite a lot of heart in the first book as well. There were some emotional moments I remember too. So yeah, I am looking forward to getting back into this one. I am quite hazy on the details of the first book, so like I say, I probably will have to reread the first one if I do decide that I want to jump back into this series. But this is the perfect season for it, isn't it? It's a vampire trilogy. I believe the third book is coming out very, very soon as well. So we have that to look forward to as well. So I may end up binging all three once the third book comes out, because that seems like a fun time. So yeah, we'll see. I'm excited. And yeah, Empire of the Vampire by J. Kristoff. Okay, moving on. The next book that I have on my list is Slewfoot by Brom. So this book has been on my TBR list before, but I haven't gotten to it yet. And I was wondering why, and I think it's because I've had a bit of a unpredictable relationship with this author. So I read Krampus by Brom a while ago, and I really loved that book. I had such a fun time reading it. But then I read the Peter Pan retelling, I forget what it's called now, but I really did not enjoy that book, and I feel like that's kind of put me off picking up his books, which is such a shame because I've heard such fantastic things about this one. But I need to kind of get over that really, and just hope that that one was just a dud and a one-off. I've heard so many people saying that this book is fantastic, so that makes me excited. It's obviously witchy, so it's perfect for this season. It's spooky, and Brom is another one that includes amazing artwork within his stories. So again, I'm just going to try and flip through and find one for you, and hopefully it's not a spoiler. But here you can see like a full page colour piece of art within his book. So he is actually an artist, and I just love his gothic, slightly disturbing art style. So yeah, that just creates even more atmosphere when you're reading these books. So it says, an ancient spirit awakens in a dark wood. The wild folk call him Father, Slayer, Protector. The colonists call him Slewfoot, Demon, Devil. To Abatha, a recently widowed outcast, alone and vulnerable in her pious village, he is the only one she can turn to for help. Together they ignite a battle between pagan and Puritan, one that threatens to destroy the entire village, leaving nothing but ashes and bloodshed in its wake. So yeah, that sounds really fascinating. I like the fact that it's going to have this religious element to it, because there's obviously this this kind of battle between pagan and Puritan. I love books that have those kinds of themes in it too. So yes, I may get to this one soon. And then the final book is a book that I've wanted to read for a really long time, but it's also a book that I have been hugely intimidated to try, but maybe this is the year to finally do it. The book I'm talking about is The House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielski. I'm really sorry if I'm pronouncing that name wrong. But yes, I've heard so many people talking about this book. The concept really intrigues me. It sounds absolutely unique and fascinating, but it's also just so intimidating, isn't it? It's a chunky book, and the formatting of this book is very unusual. I will try and put some images on the screen to you to give you an idea of what to expect in this story. All I really know about this book is that it follows, I think, maybe a family or some people who move into this house, and they quickly discover that the house is bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. And that's honestly all I really know, but I feel like this is definitely the kind of book where it's better to go in without knowing too much and to just experience it for yourself. I feel like it's one of those books that everybody should experience at some point in their life, just because it's so unique. And yeah, I feel like the kind of idea of this story is that reading this book makes you feel quite lost and confused and frustrated, and that reflects kind of what the characters are going through as well. It also includes pictures, and you know, there's a whole big appendix full of kind of like documents and things that you can reference to, and oh, it just sounds like such an interesting but also really difficult and challenging read. So yeah, I really want to give this one a go at some point, but yeah, I am dyslexic, so I feel like this might be a really big challenge for me, but also I do quite like a challenge, and I don't like to be put off things too easily. So yeah, this might be the year that I finally tackle The House of Leaves. I think if I do decide to give this one a try, I will film a dedicated reading vlog for it, because I feel like this is going to be a really fun book to vlog. So yes, let me know if that's something that you do want me to do, and I don't know, we'll see. Maybe I will give it a go if I'm feeling brave. So yeah, that's the final book on my stack. So that was my TBR stack for autumn this year, and yeah, I'm so excited. I think there are going to be some real gems in this stack. There's some authors in there that I know that I love. There's lots of spooky atmospheric reads, some challenging books, and yeah, lots of fun stuff. So yeah, thank you so much for listening. Let me know if there's any in this list that you would like me to prioritise. Let me know what you're hoping to read in the autumn months as well, because I'd love to just find out how you are and what you're reading. I hope that you're all doing well. As always, don't forget to like this video if you did like it, because it really helps out my channel, and subscribe if you want to, if you haven't already. And yeah, I guess I'll see you next time with another video. Bye!